Hi there. It's me, Stefan, chewing gum on this here fine Friday afternoon in Japan, Tokyo, to be precise. 2022, the 19th of August. 2 p.m. Anyways, this is a segment called Line News, or Stefan reads Line News. Line is, of course, the most popular messaging app in Japan. And it has its own Line news tab now, which I read on this here Line segment every day to you, the humble listener. So let's get on with it then. Alrighty, so if this is your first time listening, you know there's 2 rows of fluffy news stories with big old pictures and headlines, and sandwiched between those 2 rows is one measly tiny little list of actual news stories. But we'll get to those in a second. Let's get through all the fluff first, starting with the very, very first one on the top row, and oh boy, it's a doozy. Ikeda Eliza, who is a model or actress, wears a tank top with a bare midriff and posted it on her Instagram account, which is, of course, breaking news here on this Line News app. She bared her stomach. And that counts as cool stomach-bearing fashion here in Japan. And risque in terms of the Puritan Japanese fashion culture. Anyways, that is that for that scintillating news story. Ooh, scandalous. Story number 2. Malia, who is apparently a model. I haven't heard of her until just reading this headline right here. Cries with their family at a going-away party after her eldest son makes a surprise appearance in her farewell video. So Malia is a model, and she, I guess, is going overseas with her kids, I guess she has kids. Her eldest son is apparently a soccer player who I've never heard of before. And he appeared in her going away surprise video. And it made her and her kids cry. I guess her second eldest son is going to study, studying in America. And her model 15-year-old daughter is also going to Canada to study. And then her third son, so her 4th kid overall, apparently, just turned 4. And I guess that's the only interesting information they had on this kid. Malia is going abroad, I guess. And she cried during her going away party. And that is about it for her video. So let's look at the next story here. This bottom row, story number 3. These stories have been pretty bad today, I have to say. Story number 3, it's Milk Boy, the 2020, maybe 2019? Shoot, I don't remember. I think, they're the 2020 winners of the M1 Grand Prix, explaining why they didn't move to Tokyo after they won that big Manzai contest. So they went on Kamaitachi's TV show that they do on MBS TV. Kamaitachi no Shiran Kedo. So Kamaitachi's never heard of it, I guess is what you would call it in English. And they talk about they won in 2019. So they talk about how when they won in 2019, over Kamaitachi, by the way, they had a lot of pressure from people elsewhere to move to Tokyo, because that's generally what these M1 winners do, because Tokyo has all the TV networks and all the companies and everything. So it's a big way to get extra work and that nice big fat national TV paycheck. So most winners, if they aren't already in Tokyo, move to Tokyo after they win. Kamaitachi and Wagyu, who were the runners-up in this year of 2019, actually did that pattern. So, Milk Boy talks about how they had pressure, but that was never their goal. Their goal was to always be Manzai performers in Osaka. So when they won, that thought never crossed their mind, even though it may have affected some of their business opportunities. So, good on them. It's nice to see people not bow to pressure and move to Tokyo when they win a Manzai contest, like pretty much everyone does. Anyway, story number 4. This one's a little bit less of a lighthearted story, or I mean, it's not bad. But Orochi's Nakaoka. I think if you've seen a Japanese TV show, you probably know who I'm talking about. The guy with the long hair. He's short. He looks kind of weird, and he has glasses. Yeah, that guy is having his 4th hemorrhoid surgery, and that's not great. So he's had this hemorrhoid problem for a long time. In 2016, he was actually on on location shoot in America when his butt hurt so bad because from the hemorrhoid that he had to actually cancel the rest of his location shoot and fly back to Japan for emergency surgery, which was a pretty bad situation. And now he's doing his fourth surgery. And he said no matter what they've been doing with his hemorrhoids, it's always been hurting him. So hopefully this will finally fix it and he can go on to live a healthy, most comedians live an incredibly unhealthy life, but he can hopefully live a healthy by Japanese comedian standards life going forward. So yeah, those are the 4 fluffy news stories that we have today. Lots of weird, dumb, pointless Instagram stories today, but it's a dice roll, this here line algorithm. And sometimes we get news like we did yesterday, and other times we get non-news. But let's look at the actual news headlines that are presented to us via line news. So story number 1. Japan continues to do its own research on COVID vaccines. If you remember back when the vaccine was just getting traction, Japan had to stop all the presses and do its own separate trial research on the COVID vaccines to see if it interacted the same with pure Japanese blood. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, they're doing it again, and they found that people who've been boosted at least once with the COVID vaccine, so if they've had been shot up 3 times, they have 65% resistance to BA.5, which is the current really strong or the super contagious variant of COVID that's been ravaging Japan and causing huge problems with the medical system here again. No one in Japan seems to, or at least no young people in Japan have gotten boosted for the most part. Most people got their 2 shots in, and then they pretty much didn't bother going and getting their 3rd shot, their booster shot. I know in America we made a push for it. I guess they kind of had to make a push for it just because of all the strong anti-vax sentiment over there. But here they just kind of were like, get boosted, and then they just kind of like left it at that. And the boosters proved to be so unpopular that like they closed down all their boosting centers, vaccination centers. Although apparently they're going to be releasing the Omicron booster in October. And there's talk that they're going to reopen all the vaccination process facilities when that happens. But we'll see. We will see there. But yeah, 65% effective against BA.5, which is still like a C minus, C grade, so or D plus. It's better than an F. So yeah, if you haven't been boosted, go get boosted. Anyways, story number 2. There was a loud explosion reported in Yokohama. Which on its own is like not really newsworthy. Like I hear loud booms all the time at my apartment, and it's normally just some guy like dropping something off his balcony by accident. But apparently Tokyo Electric said that it was one of their power line towers exploding. And people on the scene reported 2 loud booms. And someone says that they can't use their landline for their phone. They can still use their cell phone. Well, obviously, because cell towers aren't exactly the same as landlines. But they can't use their landline phones. No power out. There's no power outage reported. But if you're using a landline in Yokohama, be careful. Or now you know why that's not working. Hopefully things get solved there pretty soon. And that's story number 2. The third of the 3 top news headlines presented by Line News is a lady running over 7 toddlers at a crosswalk in Okinawa. So this lady ran a red light, it appears, and ran over 7 toddlers from a local daycare center who were being pushed on like a push cart. All the daycares in Japan have like these push carts, so like the daycare ladies push for like because the kids are so young. Kids go to daycare here so young that they can barely walk. So these kids that can barely walk were on a push cart and they got hit by a car. Apparently, they aren't. The injuries don't seem too bad. That no one's dead, which is a good start. And so it's not a great situation there. But actually, no. At around 11:40, there was a report that there's some serious injuries involved there. So hopefully things go well there. Yeah, Japan has like a huge problem with people just running red lights and not stopping for crosswalks. Like people always talk about how like Japan's so courteous and friendly, but when people drive here, it's like the complete opposite. Like I guess there's like that stereotype about Asian drivers. Hold on, I'm Asian, I can make this comment. And so imagine just a country of Asian drivers, but not really necessarily that, but just people that don't really mind the traffic manners here. I was like watching a YouTube video of like some Japanese guy driving in America for the first time. He's like talking about how this California traffic is so friendly compared to Japan, and like as a Californian, I'm like, how is that possible? But apparently it is. So if you're driving in Japan, just watch out, be careful. There are crazy drivers out here. If you're crossing a crosswalk in Japan, look both ways and maybe look again, because people don't stop for nothing out here. All right, so that about does it for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you haven't yet done so, like this video, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You can find the show on Twitter at small_an_Japan. Find me on Twitter at Stefan_Tetsu. And we have a Patreon that is undergoing renovations because we're changing up the model of shows and everything. I was about to say Stefan Tetsu. Patreon.com/smallinjapan. Until next time, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm chewing gum. Thank you.